In the previous video, we just took a look after the basic JS server-side programming. Today, in this video, we are going to take a look after the JS client-side programming that is being the most famous feature of JS language. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the video. Now, the basic requirements for like client-side programming. The first is you should have a web browser installed on your PC. Like I'm having Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, as well as Opera and Firefox on my system. So I can use any of them. So in this video, we are going to use Google Chrome as the default web browser. Then the second thing is a code editor that you need to edit your code much faster. So yeah, you can do the coding and Notepad as well, but that's a lot like you can say devastating, and it will take a lot of time for you to write your code. By using a code editor like VS Code, it makes your work a lot thousand times easier to do. Like I also when I started, I used to code in Notepad, but that was a lot like a lot irritating, and it was a very long method. But when I was introduced with VS Code, it is a really fast software that can process your code and give you the output. So yeah, so I just prefer you all to use VS Code, and suppose if not, then it's your choice. Okay, let's move on to the video first. Here we are having the index.html file and script.js. Now in the HTML file, what the basic thing we need for a web page we need in boilerplate. So let's include it by using shift plus one, and then we are going to press enter. Then we are going to say like client side programming in JS. After that, what the next thing we need to connect our web page to the JS file. For that, we need a tag. We have a tag script, and inside the script we can use src. Now in client side JS, we have two types of like you can say two types of tags, two types of methods by which you can write JS in your web page. First, you can simply say a script tag inside your body, press enter, and now you can write your code at this place, any JS code you can say. So you can do something like console.log. So one more thing I want to tell you, that the things that we discussed in the server side programming are same, means 50% things are even same in client side as well. Okay, so if I say console.log2, it's going to work at this place as well. I'm going to save this, and the moment I save it, okay, let's open it with live server here. Port 5500, we are going to choose Chrome right now. Let's go there. Now here, if I go to the console by using control plus shift plus J, or you can just go to inspect, then go to console tab. So even you can do like save control plus shift plus J. The moment you do that, you will be there in the console. Or one more way is there, F12. In the same thing is there. If you press F12 as well, you will be there in your console. So 2 is the output that we are getting on the screen here, like console.log 2. Next thing is we can connect the files as well. Like suppose if you want the full JS environment in your when you're coding in JS, you want the full JS environment, so you can just say src equal to the name of the file that you want to connect, script.js. Now when we make any kind of file with the extension of js.js, then we're having all the features of that language in VS Code. But maybe for some languages like C plus C plus C, C plus plus, C sharp, Python, you may need to install some of the extensions. But for the language like JS and HTML, CSS, we having like all the things being done earlier. So yeah, this is one of the benefits that we are having with .js, HTML, and CSS. Okay. So the next thing we are having, like yeah, we were there in at the script.js file. So what we are going to do here, let's check out the things that we discussed in the server side programming. Are they working at this place or not? So first, let's check the comments. So are the comments working? Yeah, they are. Now multi-line comments, yeah, that's all working. So like multi-line comment is also there, like this. You can give a lot of code here, a lot of code, not any kind of text you can give, but that's going to be ignored by the program. So when you are writing any code, be aware that it's not inside any kind of comment, especially multi-line comments. Next thing, okay, next thing we are having is let primitive values. Let's give a equal to 2, b equal to 3, and let's print out the sum of these two values. It should be 5, and that may also come in our console only. So in server side we are having the console in VS Code only, and in client side we are having console in the web browser. So the moment I save this code, the website will refresh and we'll see the output in the console 5. Okay, so these things are all working. Now we are having functions as well. So let's make a function here, add, and we are going to take two values a and b, and then we are going to just say like return a plus b. After that, let's check is it working or not. I can add one comment here, result. So I can okay. So you can see that the tab 9 is giving me the whole code. Just I write here like result, right? So it just tell the tab 9 that you want the result of the code, that how is it working or not. So you just say console.log. We are going to print the value that's going to be returned after we run the function add 1 and 2, and that's it. That's very simple. You just press tab, you get your code completed. And it may work most of the time when you press enter or you give any kind of comment, then press enter. It is going to work 90% chances. Let's save this. Let's go to console here and we are getting 3. That's all done. Fine. Let's go further. Now let's move on to the main topic of this client side programming. The main topic is means there are a lot of functions which are related to like web page interaction with the user. Okay, so let's say window. We're having a window object, you can say, or you can say a global variable, a global object that's holding the all the works going on throughout your website. So window dot, when you press dot, you're getting a bunch of functions, and here we are going to have like we are going to deep down into all these functions right now. Let's move on to the basic one, alert. So in the window, we having one function, means you can say method alert. And in the previous video, I told you how you can set methods to any kind of variable or any kind of object. So window.alert hi. Okay, let's say hi. So what the alert do? Alert just give you kind of dialog box on your website showing hi as an alert. So the moment I save it, go back, you can see that here it's a dialog box saying like 127. That's the port number. You can say the URL says hi. Okay. Now suppose if I go to any website here like google.com, go here, right click. If I just right click here, go to inspection, go to console, and there if I say like alert hi, then it will say what? It will say google.com, www.google.com says hi. Okay, so it gives the URL at this place says hi. So this is how the alert is working. Next we are having okay, so this is alert. Let's comment it out. Next thing is window dot, and we are having like prompt. This is also a lot useful thing that you can have. Like prompt, what does the prompt do? Suppose you want to take the user's input by using these dialog boxes, then you can use prompt in your website. Prompt, and I can say like enter your name. And suppose if the user do not give any kind of name, you can even set a default string in the text box. Let's set it to be user. Let's save this. Now you can see that we are having this. Okay, let's reload it. So you can see like enter your name, and there's a default use at this place. So if I want to edit, I can even edit this. I can say Ayush, press enter, and that's it. And you can even store the value of a prompt, like whatever the user gives in that prompt, you can even store it by using declaration of a variable. Let's say let name is equal to this, and after that is done, we are going to say alert name. And let's go back. So if I just click on OK, you can see the thing, it's a default text was user, so it is giving user. If I reload it and give like Ayush plus Sunday, it will give me Ayush. Okay, let's go on to the next thing here, and let's comment this thing first. Now after that we are having something like user interaction, right? In JS we are having user interaction, and for that the main thing is add event listeners. Now what is an add event listener function do? Suppose any kind of button is being clicked on your website. How will you check is the button clicked or not. And suppose if clicked, then what you are supposed to do, like if you go to any website, let's go to on the basic example of google.com. We are having some search here, like let's say let's do like we search anything here, world, let's say world or hello world. Okay, let's say hello world, or let's say js. So if I search like js, right, js, click on this google search. Google search is what, it's a, you can say, a button. And whenever I click on this button, the program checks if the button is clicked, it redirects us to any other web, any other page that is going to contain the js information in this place. Okay, now let's go back here, and we are having this. Okay, so like we need event listeners for making user interaction with the website. Okay, okay, so let's go back to the html. Then we are going to create one button here. And you know very well that in html we can give the button classes and ids. So for giving any kind of class, you need to like button dot btn, that's an emit abbreviation function in VS Code. Dot btn hashtag btn, and what it's going to do is going to just give this button the class of btn, the id of btn. The simple way of writing, that's all, is instead of writing this whole big code, you can just say button dot for class, hashtag for IDs, both in HTML and CSS as well. Press enter and that's it. Boom, you're having one button. Let's give it like click me. Let's say click me. And the moment I save it, go back, you can see the click me as the button is there. Okay. Now let's go to the script file. Now suppose if I want the that to make a connection between the user click and the button. So the first thing that we need is we need to signify that which button is user clicking on. Like there can be a lot of buttons in the website. So how can we get to know that on which button the user is clicking, because every button is having a different task of their own. So if I click on like enter your name button and it's like asking the age, then it's totally wrong. So we need the program understand that on which button we are clicking, and after clicking on which button what things should happen. So like if I click on click me, how can I just take this how can I grab this click me button from my html document to my js program? For that we are going to declare one variable. Let's say button, let's button is equal to, now at this place likewise we are having like window dot document. In the window we are having one document object. In the document we are having one, like you can say document dot, we are having one body, and inside the body we are having like get element by, like get element. Okay, so in the body we are not having that. In the window dot document dot get element by id is there, so it exists at that point. Let's say get element by id, and at this place you are going to just pass the id of the button that you want to grab. So suppose I want to grab the button which with the id of btn. Like ids are what, ids are like special kind of parameters that are given to one element in html. And classes can be given to a lot of parameter, a lot of buttons. Like the same class btn can be given to a lot of buttons in the same web page, but the id of btn cannot be given to a lot of buttons in the same web page. So that's the basic difference between class and ids. So we are going to grab it by using the id of btn, so it is going to return that same button element. So let's say console.log btn, like button. So what you think? We are grabbing that button and we are saying console.log button means we are printing that button. So does it mean that in the console the button is going to be there? Absolutely no. The thing is that when I save this, go to the console, you can see the HTML element of that button is going to be there. And the HTML piece of code is going to be there, not the actual button is going to be. If I click here, I will be redirected. Okay, where is that? I will be redirected to this button only. So means it's linking, the html code is linking to that button, right? So now what can I do is I can just go here and say button dot add event listener. Now add event listener means we are listening to an event. And what's event? Okay, so in your daily life you do a lot of events, opening a door, closing a door, you are writing something, you are opening the cap of a pen, or you are opening the laptop, you are going to somewhere else. So that's like events that you are doing day by day in your life. So every event has some output, right? So whenever someone clicks on that button, we need to give some output to the user. So suppose someone clicks on the user on that, sorry, on that button, then we can say like add event listener click, we are having function. Now we can run one function whenever someone clicks on this button by using such a kind of syntax. We can say add event listener as a function in which we are having two parameters. First, what event you want to listen. So you are listening to click. Okay, so we are listening to click event. Now after the click is being fired, we are going to run a function, and inside the function whatever is going to be there, it's going to run all after when we click on that button. Now let's say whenever someone clicks on that, let's say button clicked. Let's save this and let's go back. If I just click on click me, you can see button click is there. Okay. Now after that, okay, one more interesting thing, you may be thinking that we are running a function with a parameter of e. Okay, so e is a parameter. So what will e return? Let's see. If I say console.log e to view the full object here, console.log e, if I do that, and if I just go here and click on the button, then only we are going to get this output here. And I just click on that two times, that's why the uh, object is two time at this place. So here you can see a lot of data related to that, means on which button, on which you can say on which element the mouse is clicked, a lot of details like type is clicked, which width x and y coordinates also are there, like page x, page y, layer x, layer y, and means all the coordinates you can get. And after that we are having like pointer type is mouse. Okay, so like there is a pointer type in JS as well. I will be making one video on pointer types as well. That's a very useful topic. And then we are having screen x and screen y. These both of these things are being widely used when we are detecting any kind of coordinates. And yeah, that's it. So that's all about that's all there inside the click. One more thing, src element means on which we are clicking here. So yeah, that's it. Now let's go back here after advent listener. Now here next thing is, okay, let's say after that's all done, we are having a lot of events as well. Like if I just go here, you can see that a lot of events are there. Like yeah, you can see mouse over is also there, mouse up is also there, mouse down is also there. So you can use add event listener with a button, with some input text box as well, with some text area as well, with any kind of element in HTML. You can add any kind of add event listener. So this is one of the most important things that you should know when you are working in client-side JS programming. Next thing are like document objects. So without using window.document, you can directly use documents like this. You can say document only, and that's going to be the same thing. Okay. So suppose let me just comment out this much whole code. Let's go back here and let's copy this button here, paste a lot of times, and we are going to get a lot of buttons. Now suppose we are having all these buttons and we want all these buttons at the same time in a form of object. We want all these buttons in a collection, all these HTML elements with the same tag name of buttons as a collection of data. So we can just get that by using suppose let's say buttons is equal to document dot get element. You can do two things. First, you can use class name, and or you can use tag name. Okay, so first of all, let's see what class name gives. So if I say btn, and then I can say console.log buttons, save it. So you can go to the console and you can see that HTML collection is there, and which is containing all these buttons. Like I think 8 buttons are there, right? Or yeah, this is the last one. So I think 9, 8 or 9. Then we are having the tag name as well. So let's comment this thing here and let's go back here. Let's say let buttons dot get element by tag name, and let's say button. After that, let's see console.log buttons. And the same thing we are going to get HTML collection. 8 is the length. It's 8 buttons. Okay. So this is one more thing. Now the most useful document function is get like as a query selector. Now suppose we say button is equal to, we want only only one button in that group, but we want to give only the ID, and we will get the first element with that ID. So what you can do, document dot query selector, and you can give the btn, okay, it's a button, not at this place btn, not the button for the tag name, because we have the tag name, right? If I just save this, go back, let's say in the console button, and it's giving me something like tab. So what I'm getting, you know what, I'm getting the first button only, the not the second or third, first button only, by using the query selector. Okay. And suppose if you want all these buttons at the same time, you can use query selector all for all these buttons. Now if I select button, now we are having a node list containing all these buttons, right? Now suppose you want to grab it by using IDs, you can even do it by using ID. Now but here a little bit thing that you should have in your mind, whenever you are using query selector to grab any element by using its class, what you need to do, just you need to say btn, not like this, btn, and as this is dot btn, I said you that dot is used for classes and hashtag for IDs. So if you want to grab anything by class, you can say dot btn for the classes as well. Now if I just go here, say console.log buttons, save it. So the first element I'm going to get, but this time is a little bit different because we are grabbing it by using a class. The same thing we are getting, but we were grabbing it by using the tag name, but at this time we are using the class to grab. Now we can use the ID as well. We need to just say instead of dot, hashtag btn, and now you can see hashtag, by using hashtag btn we are getting this. So the same output, but three different ways of getting that. And you can use query selected all with that, with the same thing here. If I save this and go here, so you can see node list we are getting. So I just said that you cannot use ID on different elements. You can, but you cannot, when you are making any kind of add event listener, then you cannot do it with all of these. Like if I say here, it may not work. Okay, then also let's see, let's run a loop to access all the elements inside this array. So let's say button dot length I plus plus. Now here let's say button I not add event listener, then we are going to get that. So let's save this and go back. So if I just go here, click, we're getting the pointer. More time we are clicking, the same pointer we are going to get. We are having this. So I think we can, okay, so we can use the IDs as well. But at some point when we are like working on means I was just programming at some project, and I just felt that there can be a lot of errors if you are using hashtag for grabbing, means the IDs for grabbing the elements. Okay, so maybe it caused some issue at some point of your code when you are using the same ID on a multiple objects. So that issue may happen with you as well. Whether it I did not recognize that case in which I was getting that error, but right now I must, like I'm just preferring you to use classes with a multiple object, not IDs. That may be a lot harmful to your code. So yeah, yeah. So we just covered a lot basic of the client side JS programming. So that's all for the first part of the client side JS programming. Meet you in the next part. Till then, see you.